So good morning, everyone. It's an incredible honor to be here with the whole team from Unity, our two founders, Joachim Monte and David Helgeson, and 1,000 of you representing our platform partners, AAA developers, indie developers, the people we love that build the games we love. Now, all of you built all of that. Some of the most beautiful games that we've ever seen and could ever have imagined, and we're very proud of. So first, congratulations for all of you to create such amazing games. And today, what I'm going to do is talk a little bit about Unity, and I'm going to start with what remains the same, what never changes at Unity. And that is our principles. And the first of these principles is democratization. Unity, from its very beginning, has been about democratization, putting the tools of development in the hands of developers globally, everywhere, anywhere, whether they can afford it or not. We really mean it. It's very important to us. We think we're leading a mission, something that's going to change the world. The second core principle at Unity is we solve hard problems. Deep down, we're an engineering company. We solve hard engineering problems. And building a beautiful game is hard. Getting that game to work on multiple platforms is hard. Making it easy to do is incredibly hard. Those are the kinds of problems we like to focus on as a company. And the third problem that we're focusing on, in something relatively new to Unity, recognizes the fact that after you've built those great games, after you've toiled days and nights to create something you think is beautiful and wonderful and potentially chart-topping, you need to find an audience. You need to get that game monetized. I've said before, but developers probably leave 50 to 70 cents on the potential dollar off the table. They're not getting the revenue they need. They're not getting the audience we need. And we're dedicating ourselves to help solve this next third problem, this next opportunity for you. And that's here to help you try to enable your success as a business. Now, as we think about Unity, I'd like now to concentrate a little bit on what's different, what's changing, given that I've just emphasized what remains the same and always will. Now, I'm going to do this now in light of our three core principles, and I'm going to talk to you about what's different, say, from last year to this, and as we go forward. So first off, democratization. I think a lot of you probably noticed with Unity 5.0 that we introduced at GDC that we changed our pricing model. What we did with Personal Edition and Pro on Unity 5 was, for the first time ever, take the full professional suite, all of that capability, and put it in the hands of the developer. The developer doesn't even pay us anything. What is the point here? Is that we want the developer around the world to feel like they're on the same platform as a AAA developer. They can aspire to make the most achingly beautiful game. You can aspire to make the most successful game or a highly rated game. That's the point, whether you've got the resources or not. We fundamentally believe in democratization, which is another reason why we now provide Unity 5 in Personal Edition, essentially an education version, for students worldwide free of charge. We are trying to essentially turn the world into a world of creators. We think that is exactly where it needs to go, and that's what we're pushing. Now, the second thing that we're changing, or we're putting more emphasis on, is solving hard problems. And I'm going to dwell on this for a few minutes. With Unity 5.0, we introduced physical-based rendering, global illumination, and a number of new technologies to enable you to build more beautiful games than ever before. So I think it's fair to say, and if you'd thought about Unity in years past, you could make a very good game. But if you were aspiring to be the most beautiful game you've ever imagined, that might not have been Unity. Well, I can tell you, with what we've done with 5.0, the resources, the recruiting, the elevation of great people that are already in the company, the resources are there. There doesn't need to be a footnote. With Unity, you can build a game that's this good. You can build it as beautiful as you can imagine it. The tools are there. And I can't emphasize enough how important that is to us. Now, if you think about it, what we're enabling you to do is build beautiful games. Look at some of these examples. I used the word, achingly beautiful a minute ago. Doesn't that conjure in your mind Ori and the Blind Forest? Or how about great design with Monument Valley? I mean, who wouldn't be proud of those games? Who couldn't imagine those games reaching the top in terms of reputation just the way they have? And there's many more. And if what your ambition is is to be critically acclaimed, to build a game that the critics around the world rate as a 9 out of 10. And by the way, 9 out of 10 or a 90 rated game is less than 1/10 of 1% of the games out there. That's where all these games are. Look at Pillars of Eternity, or Kerbal, frankly, when we're going to see a little bit later from the folks that bring you City Skylines. These are amazing games, and they're rated the way they are for a good reason. They've crafted incredible experiences. And then lastly, some of you, maybe not all of you, but some of you have the aspiration to do well financially, huge success. It wasn't that long ago, I was reading stories, I'd say, just around the time of GDC. Well, what the press was saying was, the dream is over. No one will enter the top 5 or the top 10 or the top 50 even, unless they've got Fort Knox behind them, a bankroll of biblical proportions. Well, there's 2 games that entered the top 5 in the last week, and they're indies that have built these games. Fallout Shelter, now they do have a major publisher behind them, but they entered the top 5. How long has it been since somebody's done that? Or if you look at Chronoblade here, they entered the top 5 in Korea. And by the way, it's a little bit like, that's the other half of the world, right? That's a huge, huge market. Entering the top 5 in Korea is no mean feat. So what we're proving is based on Unity or built on Unity. It can be beautiful, it can be highly acclaimed, and you can aspire to be the very top of the charts. Now, another aspect, and I'm going to talk about this and one more, but it's really about solving hard problems, is multi-platform. Now at GDC, we announced that there would be 21 platforms, or there are 21 platforms that we support. That is still true. And I think, once again, you could always count on Unity to get to the platforms that are most popular. We're smart. We look at the marketplace and figure out a lot of people are buying iPhones. We're right there with iOS, and ditto with others. But it wasn't always our ambition to be at the leading or bleeding edge. But we are pushing it hard. We're making the investments in R&D. And think about VR and AR, where we are, in fact, supporting the leading and bleeding edge. You can't find a VR platform, even VR platforms where they've got their own engine, where the majority of the content is not built on Unity. And there's good reason for that. We've engineered in the best systems for creating content for VR, and we're making more investments. And in fact, there's a bunch of folks here that have joined us in the VR space from other parts of Unity because we are putting an investment there. So a second thing that's changed, aside from trying to help you build the most beautiful products you can imagine, is we're pushing the platform leading edge so you can be out there in the front, not waiting for somebody to lead the way for you. Now, the last point that I'm going to make, and it's kind of a weird one to make, about solving hard problems, is there's a problem inside of Unity. We know that we innovate at such a rate. There's so much content coming from us, so many new features, that sometimes bugs get, maybe there's one too many out there, or a couple hundred too many. And you're going to hear from Thomas Peterson later, our QA director, and we're making a very heavy investment on quality. We're going to bring bugs down to a tamable few, not a math. And that's an investment that we're making because we understand that's what you need to realize your dreams. So we're investing heavily in quality. So if, in terms of the, solving hard problems, we're making it beautiful, we're bringing you the leading edge of platforms, we're bringing you quality. The last thing that we've talked about, and this is yet another change, relates to enabling your success. Last year, we merged with a couple of small companies, Amplifier actually not so small, and Playnomics on the analytics side. Today, we're going to show you what that means. We're bringing you ad solutions, or you're bringing you analytics solutions that will help you monetize your products better than ever before, and ultimately discover an audience, and a paying audience you've never had before. We think that's essential. The metaphor David Helgeson used a year and a half ago at Unite is you climb the first mountain, building that amazing game, only to see a taller mountain in the future, the mountain of attracting a user and getting monetization. And we're here absolutely, without doubt, to help you solve that problem. We are your partner, and we're bringing you those tools.